Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Life After Enlightenment, How to Drop the Ego Once and For All, featuring Vivian. This is Frank, I can't remember his name, I'm sorry. Frank Yang, I believe was his name. So this was a request, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm not sure what it's going to say here. I've never
In
reacted
this
to this
video,
before.
I'm going to talk about the difference between mystical experiences of meditation, psychedelics versus enlightenment. Moment-to-moment description of the full natty state, how to do self-inquiry to drop the ego once and for all, and what is truth, love, God, and death, why it's important to ultimately transcend the entire paradigm of spirituality. See, before awakening, you're in a separate state, the egoic state. Or when you thought that your thoughts are real, now that's an altered state of consciousness. It's insanity. Psychotic. Now during awakening, you experience all those mystical states, when your consciousness explodes to the universe, divine unity. Now that's an altered state of consciousness. 99% of what you hear and read in the spiritual marketplace still belongs to this stage. Now after awakening, for the first time you access the natural state, and that is an unaltered state of consciousness. Now the natural state is deeper than any mind-blowing experiences you can have. There's no more lenses of perception. Even the experiencer is dissolved. Now there's no levels to this thing because all levels of consciousness still belongs to the dream state. See, a big self is not no self. Now for those who's only experienced the ego state and the mystical experiences are always going to confuse enlightenment with outer states of consciousness. Like, I want more, give me more cosmic bliss. Now there's a quantum difference between you as a separate entity experiencing the divine versus the infinite apprehending itself, eternity gazing back at itself, the universe fucking itself without any lubes or a condom. There's a world of difference between momentarily transcendence of the self versus the permanent dropping away of the self. Now the former is quite common these days. They're peak experiences induced by meditation or psychedelics, but the latter is a realization, and that's rare. Although it's what's always been the case for everyone. It's the deepest dimension of every being. In this dark light of the Absolute, transcends but includes all particular experiences in finite forms. And now you're truly unilocal. You're nowhere, everywhere, but also somewhere. You're nobody, everybody, and somebody. You're nothing, everything, and also something. And that there are no things, only interconnectedness and interrelations. See, even consciousness is not a primordial substrate. It's a process, just like other objects, where the witness, the witnessing, and the witnessed simultaneously and codependently arising, and neither has an inherent existence.
Okay, that's interesting right there. I mean, he essentially said a lot of the same things, but amazingly they all sound different. You are everything, you're nothing, everything, and something. You are I can't remember all the other things. It's a hold on, let me rewind this a little bit. This is the last part. And this is kind of also interesting. Stuff like the witness simultaneously codependently arising. Because everything's Brahman. So what you witness is yourself, but also it's yourself, but not yourself, but yourself. And both are dependent on each other for realization, not the ultimate realization, but the realization of the other that's not the other. That's how I'm understanding so far. Now definitely I think I'm more than likely misunderstanding to some degree. I definitely have to watch this person multiple times to understand what he's saying here. Let me just rewind a little bit. The primordial substance were objects or other objects were
Objects where the witness, the witnessing, and the witnessed simultaneously and codependently arising.
And that phrase that it said, the witness, the witnessing, and the witness. The witnesser, the witnessed, and the witnessing. He said that multiple different ways, all saying the same thing, but also all saying something slightly different to help you understand the same message. Kind of like the multiple path to the same resolution. Some people may understand one certain words certain ways, and it's fantastic that he said it in many different ways, all meaning the same thing, but to some people all sound a bit different. Hope
And
that makes
neither has
sense.
an inherent existence. So clinging on to a universal mind still leads to suffering. You gotta go beyond both the individual and the collective mind. Be that source which manifests both. That's the difference between the majestic contraction and expansion of the same sensation and energy. The dissolution of ego is awakening. Dissolution of
Background and stuff going on is so. I'm getting a bit distracted.
you're gonna die over and over and over again. You're dying into the ordinary, moment by moment. You're dying into the extraordinary, moment by moment. See, most mystical experiences are the byproduct of the dissolution of the separate self. When you're peeling up the layers and layers of the mind, even jhanas. We tend to confuse the side effect with the goal. Now, what happens when you have a glimpse of reality before you have completely dissolved the separation is that you tend to project whatever shadows and beliefs, past experiences onto the infinite. Whether it's, oh, I'm a great meditator, or I'm God, or this is what I think is the truth of reality. You think you're moving forward, but you're just actually piling on more conditionings. See, if the character responses to this glimpse is bliss or ecstasy, that's your spiritual high. If the character responses to this opening is disgust, fear, and confusion, that's your dark night of the soul. They're two sides of the exact same coin. If you're still experiencing Kundalini energies, then you still haven't completed the circuits. After it's all said and done, even the great meditator can't jhana anymore because nothing can touch the infinitude of the full nadi state.
That's interesting. Um, Interesting you said the Kundalini, because we did just watch a series of Kundalini, and Swami Taramananda practiced it, even though his guru told him not to. I mean, he just wanted to experience what it is about. And he said he felt something. I don't know whether he fully did it or not. But interesting that he said that, the fact that if you're still feeling the Kundalini, like the energies and effects of it, then you've not completed the circuits. You've not completed the transcendence or whatever it may be, because once you've completed the circuits, the transcendence, whatever it may be, you no longer will feel that. I wonder if it's more along the lines that, you can be transcendence, but you can be aware of the body, kind of like what Swami Sarvapriyananda says about, is it Ramakrishna? That, he made a joke about the doctor coming in there. It's like, how you're feeling. I can't remember how it goes, but it goes along the lines of, perhaps it's like, oh, I'm feeling fine. It's like, oh, what about your tooth? It's like, oh, the body. Oh, that's yeah, it's in pain. The body's in pain. So basically, essentially, he knows who he is and is aware of the things in his body. So it's this. So it's not like, when you completely lose all feelings of your body in some sense, that you've transcended. But hopefully that when you transcend that, you're still aware of the body, because there is still the physical aspect of it. And I don't believe, my personal belief is not to dismiss it, but to, as Swami Sarvapriyananda says, there's the two arrows. The first arrow is always the physical body pain, and the second one is more of the spiritual pain, I suppose.
It's like you're constantly in a state of samadhi.
Man, where is he
So
at?
once all your chakras open up, you're not going to feel them anymore. So your realization does not exclude all the previous stages. In fact, all experiences cannot be manifested even more clearly without the experiencer.
Okay.
Completely vanishing and dissolving into the fabric of reality. And you're so immersed in the present moment that even the power of now doesn't exist. There's no past, there's no future. Every moment, when you're truly in the present moment, is disjointed. It's disjointed. And every moment is complete. Totally encapsulated within itself, so that it's totally eternal and timeless. It's absolutely beautiful. And if I don't put my lens of perception back on it, this lens of perception could be anything from emptiness to bicycle to Louisa coffee over there, or God consciousness, green and pink. If I don't put the mind back on, like just a funny wardrobe, I can't tell the difference between anything. It's just, I think it's just this one big blob of infinity. I think that's how babies see the world. And it's fucking, it's like a natural, permanent LSD or mushroom trip. Except again, it goes beyond. In this field of experience, so it's penetrating itself so thoroughly that there is no space for the separate self to existing. See, it's this gapless, seamless whole, and it's not coming in and out of some source or background. That's just, again, projections of the separated state. See, it's just colors and shapes and form, vibrations, sensations. Extremely, extremely immediate, spontaneous. See, without a perceiver anywhere in the head or outside the head or in the body perceiving anything, our sensations know themselves or comprehend themselves. Looking at the clouds right now, it's in the same space as my face from the absolute perspective, because it's the mind that gives rise to time and distance. God itself would not label itself as this or that. You're not going to ask trees or birds or dogs what is awareness, or do you feel that you are aware? No, they have an experience. Even the air in between objects is infinitely full and made up of the exact same no thing as the sky, the leaves, even the rocks. The body, the hair, the eyeballs, the teeth, the tongue, the livers, the thoughts, the feelings, the memories, the traumas, the fucked upness, the perfectness, the limitedness, the unlimitedness, the perfection, the imperfection, all of it. All of it.
They're only reflections, but no mirror. Now, when you move around the world as the world, without a center point, solidity, or any sense of separation, it feels like you don't have a body or a mind, but the entire universe is your boundless Dharma body. When you walk, it's just the universe walking. It doesn't feel like you're moving or going anywhere, but from another perspective, every part within this whole is codependently originating to make every single thought, movement, and action absolutely perfect.
I will say, what he's saying almost seems like he is high out of his mind. But like Swami Taramadanda has said that, I guess, in Sadhguru also, a lot of these people can get this similar experience by doing those drugs. But the fact is that, I can't remember which one of them said it, but by doing that you end up, I think it's probably Sadhguru, by doing that you end up burning your senses because you're chemically doing it as opposed to naturally doing it. Like I guess instead of your body naturally producing it, you're kind of forcing your body by injecting it with the chemicals. So what he's saying is very much like what a person who is drugged up would say, but at the same time, Swami Taramadanda and Swami admitted to have done drugs. I don't think Sadhguru, but Sadhguru did say that people who do drugs can experience these things. So, I guess it's kind of hard to determine, potentially hard to determine who's doing drugs or not, unless you can see them sitting there and do it naturally, of course. But, of course, anyone who doesn't understand this would probably think they're doing drugs. There's just nothing else about it, just drugs.
So living life in a natural state, it's almost like you're permanently in a state of cessation or nibbana. You're truly gone, yet fully present. That's why cessation, the highest meditative attainment, is such an important practice. Because the purest unfabricated state is unconsciousness. But see, death is not the point. It's to live life to the fullest while being dead. Show me your mystical experience. If it's not right here, right now, for everybody, since the day you were born, even before that, and when you die and after that, then it's not it.
I do wonder, let me go back real quick. Like this wall here, it's very odd that you see people like right close to my finger here, just lined up and watching the people on the other side of the wall that's being shot with lasers or something. Careful with your eyes, photosensitive. But I do wonder what this place is and like what is it for. I'm guessing it's for people to experience something because of all the lights and everything. I'm assuming, unless they're like part of an art piece, then everyone's watching them. I don't know, because clearly we see a lot of people on the outside looking at the people at the wall as though they're like art, but I'm wondering if it's just them waiting their turn to see what happens. I don't know. Pretty cool though, I'll say. Oh, what the
In the full natty state, you have the reflexivity to be a god, a human being, or a monkey. But you have to be nothing before you can be everything, or else you're gonna run into trouble. And in place of this absence is the manifestation of the entire existence that goes beyond existence and non-existence, form and emptiness. And nirvana is samsara. You gotta transcend even the transcendental and see that those different modes of existence are just different reconfigurations of the same transient, empty sensations. But to truly realize this at the experiential level, one has to dissect and dissolve all experiences from the most divine to the most mundane, down to the atomic level, and then vanish into the singularity prior to the Big Bang and Big Crunch.
See, like I said in one of my earlier stories, once you really embody it, understand something, you don't see it anymore. So if you still think that, if you're one of those God people, if you're still thinking that, oh, everything is God, or you have the thought that, oh, I am God, then you haven't become God. You haven't embodied it. God hasn't been embodied to be so thoroughly that it's you. You're still thinking that, right? Just like if you truly found the self, like an eyeball that can't see itself, but it sees everything else. If you truly found the true self of no self, you can't experience or even see it.
That's why you can never understand the mind with the mind. It's only by dissolving the self to the higher perspective of no mind that you can truly understand the self. By that time, the self would disappear. See, because you can't kill the ego with the ego, because that which tries to kill the ego is ego. The only way is to see through it by loving and accepting and expressing every particle of it until the separate self dissolves into love. And to love is to die. And to die is to manifest all of reality. And this is the deepest form of love there is, going beyond the fleeting emotions and passion and bliss of the character. Independent of the conditions of even trying to be a compassionate person. And this is what Osho calls a cold love. See, the paradox is that after you transcend the desire to help yourself and other people, that's when true compassion arises spontaneously, without any feels. And this is the difference between a bodhicitta, arhat, and Buddhahood, which is your true nature. So the former is still stuck on the ground of love and compassion, and the arhat is still tripping over nirvana and obsessing over death and nothingness. The full nadi state is the combination, the merging and transcendence of both being and non-being, love and death. And here all stages are void. The only way to move on to the next level is to dissolve and absorb the current one. That's why self-inquiry, the whole process of it is to disidentify every stratum of the dream state. You simply disidentify and objectify everything you experience, everything that you can witness, look at, perceive, experience, be aware of, and then simply note it as not self. Whatever can be observed and objectified cannot possibly be the subject. If you can be aware of awareness, that's not it. If you can experience nothingness or God, that's not it either. So if everything in your field of experience can be objectified, then where, when, who, and what are you? But see, without dissolving the center of solidity, using vipassana or abiding in infinite consciousness, using do-nothing meditation, it's very difficult to take self-inquiry to the endpoint. So any solidity that's left in your field of experience can still be looked at, or is mistaken to be the one that's looking, see? Thus reinforcing and creating the duality between the witness and the witness, the one asking the question and the answers.
I will say, the first quite large section of this video, I didn't quite understand what he's talking about. He was saying a lot of things which somewhat made sense, but mostly didn't make sense. It seems like he is probably talking to a person who has meditated, who has come close to enlightenment or self-realization, but yet hasn't quite gotten there. I think this video probably speaks more to them than to someone like me who is just starting off. This is because, again, he's talking about, I guess the title is Life After Enlightenment, but this, a lot of things of what I'm hearing, at least from what I'm understanding what he's saying, is that it seems like it's is for those who think that they're enlightened or just right at the cusp of enlightenment, but not quite there and don't know how to get there. There's probably a lot of what he's saying is a lot of the issues that people are having is perhaps they didn't realize that, you know, they think that they're God, or that they've gotten to that point. They did the Kundalini and they still feel all the energies, and perhaps for some odd reason it's just not quite there yet. And he's explaining, okay, the reason why you haven't been there yet, you're not there yet, is because you're still feeling all of this. There's still no separation between you and the body, or you and the energies. But I don't. He's just explaining that as to why you haven't gotten there yet. As what's the potential problems, I think. But he hasn't said what the resolution for that was. Is perhaps maybe there's probably more training needed, or more meditation, or more techniques, or something. Probably need a guru to help you, guide you a little bit further in your progress. Obviously, most gurus will say they'll point you the way and give you the tools, but if you're struggling, it's always nice to seek guidance.
So insights and wisdoms are the uncovering of what's already the case. I always say that your awareness becomes panoramic. Well, is the world 360? If yes, then you are 360 because you are the world. To fully embody spirituality and the fruits on the path is to let go of the whole notion of spirituality.
Free the curry.
See, spirituality is a program of all programs, but it also must self-destruct for you to return to the natural state. And for a lot of very serious seekers, it's the last layer of conditions. See, because ultimately there's no such thing as spiritual knowledge. Quote-unquote truth is the end of knowledge, end of mind, and that's freedom.
Interesting. This is a bit difficult for me to grasp and understand. I do understand some things, mostly not. Like I said a little bit earlier, that a lot of it seems to be speaking to those who are close to it, but I'm nowhere even near it, clearly, because he's talking about how the one thing about the eye, how the eye cannot see itself, but it can see everything else. If you see objects, you're still not there. Essentially, you're still not there because you can still see objects, and you have to dissolve yourself into, I can't remember the word he used, but essentially dissolve yourself, your ego, into nothingness, basically. So that you have to be everything, nothing, and something all at the same time, which is something that Swami Sarvarpiyananda has said about Brahman. Is the fact that he's all objects, not separated by objects, all time not separated by time, and all space not separated by space. Essentially everything and nothing at the same time, or the infinite, as I believe, according to Swami Sarvarpiyananda, that's the definition, kind of Brahman. It's the infinite. So anyways, very interesting, very beyond me at the moment, or perhaps it's just my first time reacting to his video, so it's a bit difficult for me to grasp. But hopefully, if you enjoyed it, please check out his channel. There should be a link to this video on the description. However, if I do, I might be doing a mass update pretty soon, so all links probably will be gone. But you can copy the title and look it up. I'll try to keep the YouTube name kind of in the very front, a shortened version of it, and then the title, so you can search for it that way. Anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.